Okay, guys. Hi. I'm going live, and it is 1:30 a.m. in New York, so I'm hoping everybody's asleep. My goal with this stream is to catch up with the queue of all the trades and the reviews. The Flock League trip happened, and honestly, it all piled up. So my goal is hopefully to spend the next 2 hours, get through all the reviews, get through all the trades. Okay, so let's start off with trades. And actually, I just need to make sure that my audio is okay real fast. Let's see. I think we are good. Okay. Okay. I just got to pile through these. I got to go quick fire. And for the love of God, I love all of you guys, but if you're watching, please do not buy anything today. I love all of you. But please, I'm begging you, don't buy a trade question or a team review. I've probably never asked that in my life, but I am way overwhelmed. Okay, here we go. Jose, 1 quarterback, 8 teams, start 7, sending away Etienne and Chase. It's a redraft league. Etienne and Chase for Javonte and Puka. This is pretty close. I do prefer the Javonte Williams side just because I like Javonte over Etienne this year. JC Good, Dynasty, Superflex, 12 team start 9. Burden or Henderson. I have them pretty close in my rankings. I would lean Henderson slightly. Big fan of him this year. And obviously, high expectations with the breakout. Henderson obviously is a little bit more difficult to project right now. Okay, Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf in a Dynasty Superflex League, or Chase Brown, Parker Washington in a second-round pick. I would have Garrett and Chase Brown pretty close. I think if you don't need either position over the other, I would definitely lean towards like Parker in a second over Metcalf. So this is quite close. I don't think there's any loser here, but Parker Washington has a chance to skyrocket into the top 20 this year if things go right. DK Metcalf, I just don't think there's a scenario in which he drastically improves his stock. Ale Dag in a Dynasty Superflex, start 10 with a Titan Premium, full rebuild. He would send away Nico in a first for McConkey and Brian Thomas. Yeah, if you're rebuilding, I don't think it makes much sense to send your pick away. If this is not your pick, I would accept it. If it is your pick, I would not send your pick away if you're about to rebuild. Faint advancement. Trade away Prescott for Rice. What's my counter offer? I have Mahomes, Herbert, weak at running back. Well, first off, if you can get Rice, then for Dak, then I would just take Rashee Rice. I wouldn't really counter anything. Then you can flip Rice for a running back if you need to. But if you're weak at running back, yeah, I mean, they have Judkins, but Rice is worth more than Judkins, dude. You should take this trade, and then you can figure out running back in season. Like, Achane and Stevenson is good enough week 1. If Rice starts popping off in the year, you can use him to get a running back if you need. Bose, big quarterback, score 1 point per 10-yard passing touchdown, 6-point passing touchdown, or passing yards. Sending away Mahomes. It's a 1 quarterback league. Mahomes and 2 firsts for Burrow, Lemon in a second. Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. Mahomes and 2 firsts for Burrow, Lemon in a second. I love Burrow, but I just don't get why you would do this in a 1 quarterback format. Yeah, I mean, it's closer to a swap than it is anything that's super impactful. I would just keep the Mahomes side of this, dude. Matty Stass, sending away JSN for Taylor Rice in a second. I'm kind of indifferent on this one. The second doesn't really do much for you. Could use some help at RB. Yeah, I mean, the second, again, does not really do much for you, man. Like, can you get CMC instead if you're going to go in like this and get a second back yourself? Or, sorry, send a second back yourself instead of get that second? Probably more interested in a trade like that if you're trying to go all in, all in. Yeldar, would I send Nico in a second for Neighbors? Yeah, in a heartbeat. Easy. I'll take that. Marcelo says, it's a super flex 10 team start 9, small league, small lineup. Have Gibbs. So you would send away Bijan for Achane and Tate. I'm not doing this in a small league. I love Achane, love Tate, but in a 10 team league, start 9, small lineup, small league, you keep your premium players. That's how you win leagues. Maddie, one quarterback, 12 team start 7. Retooling for long term, he says. Running back and quarterback need depth. Shopping Cook in hopes of gaining more capital in 27. So you would send away Cook in a second for Coleman, Claiborne, a first and a second. I mean, this feels very cheap, dude, for James Cook. Basically, the seconds cancel out at best. Claiborne's probably nothing. So you're sending Cook away for a late first and Coleman. That's a big loss. That's not a good trade. This is just forcing a trade when there's not value there. This would be a hard pass for me. Like, remove you sending a second, remove getting a second in Claiborne, and get 2 firsts in Coleman. Or hold James Cook until the season begins where people realize they want the fantasy points he's going to give them. So that's a hard undersell. I'm not doing that, Maddie. Captain, 10 team start 9. Sending away Rodriguez, Adunze, Bowers. Okay. Full point premium. Getting back Shuck, Olave, Laporta, Barner, the 104. Yeah, with it being a full point premium, wow, I mean, that's an interesting question. It's pretty fair, but again, with it being a 10 team start 9 small league, small lineup, I am going to keep Brock Bowers here. Love all of you guys. Just so you know, my queue is like 70 things deep. So I always try to help out the chat as much as I can. Tonight, my only goal, and it's the reason I went live so late, is to get rid of the queue here, is to get through this queue. So I literally can't stop answering these questions. That's my goal. I gotta get it done. Appreciate all of you though. NS 1994, Superflex start 10 with a Titan Premium. Is this fair? One in JSN, but not likely. Guy wanted Pickens, but I'd rather send extra picks. He would send away Higgins. Well, Jaden Higgins obviously torn ACL now, but 2 Higgins, McBride, a first and a second for Neighbors and an early first. There is a Titan Premium, pretty important premium there. Neighbors and McBride are pretty close. Probably a slight overpay there, man. Even with the Jaden Higgins injury. Probably a slight overpay. Guandrone, another small league with a small lineup, sending away Thomas and a first for a Colson Loveland. If that is truly a mid-first, you are really banking everything on Loveland being a breakout. I mean, think about it. What did Trey McBride do last year? Are people going to be willing to send a first and Thomas for Trey McBride right now? Like a mid-first? That's really the 104, 5, 6 next year. I don't think people value tight end enough here. But it's a pretty close call. You're going to need Loveland to hit his max if you do that trade. Zegel, sending away Scat, Etienne, and Jigba, Gadsden, and Goddard. It's funny to see Gadsden out there in the second quarter tonight. RIP. Hopefully you sold him like we said in the offseason. Superflex start 9. So you go from Cam to Chase. I'm fine with that. You get off of Etienne. The hard part here is losing JSN. This is pretty close. I feel like Gadsden and Goddard are really not much in Dynasty. They don't really play a big part for me anymore. This is a pretty fair trade, honestly. If you'd like to tier down, then this is about as good as you could probably do. Scat. This is a super message. I don't know what the question is because... Yeah, I'm not sure if this person is expecting me to review a team. You can't get a team reviewed through the super message. It only sends text. I don't really know if they're asking a trade or what, but if you want a team review, you gotta submit a team review. If you want to trade, gotta submit a trade. Otherwise, I'm just looking at text. Basically, all you've sent here is your lineup. So I'm gonna give you a free trade question to come back and ask a question because I'm not sure what to do about that. You can DM me on Discord if you have any questions. Dynasty Dude, sending away Hampton, getting back Lemon in a first. That would need to be like a true early first for me to do that. That would need to be a locked and loaded top 3 pick next year for me to pull the trigger. Otherwise, I'm keeping Hampton. So if you can guarantee that, which is tough, then yes. If not, then I would keep Hampton. Drizzy, Superflex 10 team start 9, sending away Henderson, Burden, and a first for Harvey, Amon-Ra, and Addison. Look, I love Amon-Ra. He is the best player here. I just don't really want to move Burden. That's as simple as this, Drizzy. It's nothing analytical. It's just I'm not really trading Luther Burden myself. I just think it's a big risk to trade 2 guys who, yes, could fall in rankings for sure, but also could skyrocket. Is there, Zach, is there 4-team feature on the website? I don't, what do you mean by that, Jonah? But yeah, I'm gonna keep the Burden side of that. Look, if Amon-Ra is like the last thing you need to feel like you're really competing, sure, but it's a risky move sending those 2 young, talented players away. 1 quarterback, 10 teams start 9. I'm indifferent. Like Cam Ward, I don't think is ever going to make a huge impact in Dynasty. Ideally, what I'd like to do here is like chuck on a second that you get and send a third. You know, if you have a third. But overall, I'm really indifferent on like Pitts versus Kraft. I could see Pitts outscoring Kraft this year. Wale, 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8. Does my team need it? Just not sure. Do I send it? Sending away Kyron and Jefferson. Getting back McCaffrey, Higgins, and Warren. No tight end premium. I don't love this. I don't love this. It does help you at tight end big time. I am probably going to keep Jefferson here. I mean, who could they add to like make this more enticing? Can they send you like a first if you send like back a Harvey or something, you know? I'm not in love with that trade overall. Skullsm says, are those dates the trades they were sent inaccurate? Look, guys, honestly, I'm surprised that 34 of you guys are tuning in right now. I purposely went live late because I don't want anyone to buy anything tonight. I'm begging you. Please do not buy a team review. Please do not buy a trade question. I love you guys so much, and I appreciate your support so much. But for the past 2 weeks, I've been in Austin, Texas. I've been doing the Flock League draft, and obviously every single day is go, 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 record, record, record. I did not have time to do any trades or any team reviews or anything. So the reason I'm live right now is I'm just trying to dedicate the next like 2 hours to just clear through this queue. I think we have 13 team reviews or something. So I appreciate the support so much. It's overwhelming. I love it. But also I'm like, please don't buy anything. Like, okay, we're going to keep going though. Okay. That's why the queue is so bad, just so you know. Okay. 10 teams start, 9 Superflex, small league, small lineup. I want Waddle, but not sure if it's worth Brian Thomas. What do you think? Yeah, look, I probably would. I'm indifferent on this. I'm indifferent on this. I know it says they're robbing you, but if you want to go out and compete right now, Waddle is the better asset. But Waddle has no chance of like being a top 10 dynasty receiver again. Brian Thomas absolutely does. So in a 10-team league, I'm probably just holding on to Thomas. Don't think Waddle in a 10-team league is probably the reason you win or lose a championship, unless you just have a really poorly built team, and Waddle is a huge upgrade. Okay, Brando in a redraft league. Okay, 1 quarterback. It's a small league, small lineup, 8-team league, really small league. Okay, so Lawrence, Brown, Chase, Loveland, or okay, I mean this is basically like the 2nd overall pick for the 3rd overall pick, then a 2nd round pick for a 2nd round pick, then a 3rd round pick for a 3rd round pick, and then Daniels, I guess, is a 6th for like an 8th. This is a fair trade, man, on both sides. It's just about who you prefer. I don't have a preference here. I really don't. I might slightly lean Daniels and Bowers because the onesies feel a little bit more elite there. But, and in such a small league, I feel like that matters. Here for the snacks, 1 quarterback dynasty, half point, top 3 team. I have Scat, Cook, Barkley. Yeah, I'd be fine to make this trade. I do think Saquon's gonna have a big bounce back, but even if Henderson is like underwhelming this year, he's probably going to be worth more than Saquon. Like Henderson could probably tear his ACL tomorrow, and in 365 days, he's probably worth more than Saquon. So if you don't need Saquon, I have no problem with that. That could definitely be smart in the future. Oh my God, we have so many team reviews. How am I going to do this? We're going to do it. I don't think my queue has ever been this piled up. Okay. Folk J, Keeper League, CMC 2nd round, or Pickens in the 6th. Ooh. I think it would depend on like how your league goes. If all your league is keeping running backs, it might be smart to keep running back. But if it's quite mixed, I think Pickens in the 6th is a pretty damn good value. But man, CMC in the 2nd round. If it's a small league, I'll keep CMC. If it's like a 12-team, start 8, I'll keep George. Sam, 10-team keeper league, pick 1 to 2 players to keep. Half point PPR, start 8. Bucky in the 2nd, or Bucky in the 5th, Aubrey in the 10th, or Pitts in the 11th. Hard part there is like Bucky in the 5th is kind of where he's going this year anyway. You want to feel like it's a value. Aubrey, I got to be honest, Sam, none of these feel like good keepers to me. These all feel like keepers that are not really priced in some insane, awesome way, you know? I don't have a strong preference here, really. I guess I'm gonna like say keep Bucky and Pitts, but neither of them in such a small league feel like some huge discount. Yeah, we'll go Bucky and Pitts here. Sorry there wasn't more analysis there, but there's really not great options there. Zach's third leg. That's an incredible username. I don't know if you're saying my third leg or if your name is Zach, but unfortunately, my friend, you haven't selected any players in this trade question. So I'm going to give you a free one to resubmit because right now There are no questions there submitted. 8-man league. Unless I'm misunderstanding, like, is this the question right here? Are you asking this? I'm not going to take away the voucher I just gave you, but are you asking if you should send your 106 in a redraft league for the 207 and the 302? I'd probably take the 207 and the 302 and make sure you get one of the elite tight ends. Hopefully that's helpful. Wes, sending away Javonte and Nico, getting back Jeremiah Love. Yeah, I'll take Jeremiah Love in a dynasty league there. Clever Sheep. I would not pay 2 firsts for McCaffrey. Love McCaffrey, but I'm not paying any more than a single first for him. That's just... You're not even buying a used car. You're buying like a 1999. It's a really nice old car. You know. Lexus. That's just not a good investment. 1 first at the most, dude. M. Reed says, Tet Achan and my first isn't enough. Counter. Tet Achan and your first is not enough, then you probably need to hold, dude. I would not counter any more than that. Yeah, I first off, you haven't linked your teams, I don't think, have you? Or maybe you have. Good Lord, what is this roster? I mean, could you throw in Kittle? No, he doesn't even need a tight end. This is a problem. None of these teams need anything. Ted Achan and a 27 first. I don't think I'd play much more than that, though. I think you should hold if that's... if he wants more. Superflex, 12 team start 11. Total rebuild. This would give me 727 first and 4 seconds. Sending away Garrett Wilson for a first, McMillan in a second. Yeah, this is about the price you'd pay for Garrett Wilson, about a mid first. I don't have any problem with this if you're rebuilding. If it's a late first, it would suck, though. Doug says, hoping to get younger and downgrade receiver. Yeah. I don't think you could sell Amon-Ra for more than that. That's a pretty incredible tear down, honestly. Frank, seems fair, but I'm tentative to trade Gibbs. I would rather keep Gibbs here pretty easily, honestly. Like, I am a fan of Brian Thomas, but yeah, I don't think you trade Gibbs right now unless it's a package you can't deny, and I wouldn't say that's a package I can't deny. Cajun, sending away Kincaid. Is Njoku good enough tied into target at 209? I mean, I'm not really interested in this trade, to be honest. I'd rather just keep Kincaid in a tight end premium. The 209 and Njoku mean quite literally nothing to me, so yeah, I'm just going to keep Kincaid here, dude. Jeb sending away mid first for Zay. I'd rather send a late first, dude. If it's truly like the 105 or 6, I don't see... You're probably going to regret that. So that needs to be a late first. Otherwise, I'm keeping the pick. But I do love buying Zay Flowers in a competitive roster. TX says, thoughts on this if playbook trades don't happen? Sending the 109 for Montgomery? No, bro. Not a chance. No. Love Montgomery. But I'm not sending a late first for Montgomery. Yeah, this is the type of trade you send for somebody else, like Saquon, or, you know, this is too much. You send this trade for 2N, Etienne, Scattaboo, Bucky. I wouldn't do this for Montgomery. DJ Polo, first 3 rounds auction, 4 to 5 snake. Any suggestions? I don't have enough information to give you a good answer there, dude. Because what is your budget? Are you saying you can only spend like money in the first 3 rounds? Because if that's the case, I'd probably just try and get 2 elite players and bite the bullet on like the 3rd round pick. Like I'd probably want to walk away with like a Gibbs or Bijan plus Puka or something crazy like that. And then just let the snake draft pan itself out. But again, there's a lot of context there I don't know the answer to. So also don't know the format, my friend. You know, how many teams are there, scoring settings. But that's some general advice, I would say. Wamper sending away a first in a 1 quarterback league, though, an early first. Love Jaden Daniels. You can't send away an early first for a quarterback in a 1 quarterback format. Can't do that if that's truly what you're telling me is a top 3 pick. Can't do that. Can't do that. Okay. In Superflex, different answer, but 1 quarterback can't do that. My goodness, another team review. Jack. Draft advice from the 108, half PPR tight end premium. Yeah, from the 108. Is this dynasty or redraft? I'm going to assume it's a redraft question at this time of the year. My best advice for you is, number 1, watch my strategy video, because I go through a ton of historical data on that video. Actually, it's on the Fantasyland Football channel. Sorry. Okay. So that would be number 1. And this is what the strategy video looks like. It's got Ja'Marr Chase on the cover right here. Okay. Number 2, watch my Flock League draft tomorrow when it releases, because I draft from the 109. What I will say is, assuming this is a redraft 1 quarterback, I would suggest to be dominant at running back at the back end of the board. Appreciate you, man. Really buff kitty. I'm hoping this is the last trade question of the night. Then we can bump through these reviews. 1 quarterback, 12 teams, start 10. Henderson Watson for Brooks McConkey. Wow. I probably prefer to keep the Henderson side here, but I could see this going either way this year. I can see Brooks breaking out and McConkey being fantastic again, and you would regret not making that trade. Right now, overall, I probably lean Hendo and Watson slightly. That's tough, though. That could go either way, truly. Okay. Oh, my God. Sorry. I thought we were done with the trade questions. Okay. My bad. I just got to the end of the queue. Okay. Right back up here. None your business. Super. I love you guys so much. I don't want to be coming off as ungrateful. I'm just so overwhelmed. None your business. Superflex. 12 teams start 12. Sending away Chig, Brian Thomas, a first and a second. Getting back Pickens, Kraft, and a third. It's a tight end premium. That premium is massive. If that's really a 1.25 tight end premium, that's ridiculous. And yeah, I would take the Kraft side of this if that's the case. Rowan. Sending away Mendoza, Concepcion, and 3 firsts. My God, what are you getting back? Lamar Jackson, Ja'Marr Chase. Let's keep it a buck. That's what you're getting back. Okay, think about it. What would you pay for Lamar Jackson? Pretty easily, I'd pay Mendoza, Concepcion, and let's say that late first. So would I pay 2 firsts for Chase? Yeah, I would do that. So, yeah, I'm fine to take the Lamar Jackson side here. Wamper sending away Chase for Daniels, Javonte, Jameson, and a first. Pretty good haul, but it is a 1 quarterback league, so I don't agree with the idea that you're robbing them. In fact, this is not enough for Ja'Marr Chase in a 1 quarterback format. I'll keep Chase there. Happy Emo sending away Lawrence and Brooks and Downs for Jackson and Kittle. It's a redraft Superflex league. Lose depth for Lamar. I mean, if I'm reading this right, you already have Daniels, Purdy, and Lawrence. So I don't think you really need to improve your quarterback room, bro. Oh my God, this team is crazy. I probably hold for now. I don't think you need to improve that quarterback room. I mean, Daniels, Purdy, Lawrence is an insane 3. So, no, I don't think you need it. Okay. Jazilba. Top 3 to 4 team in the league. I love Tate, but I just got this offer. Feels too good to pass up. Sending away Tate for James Cook. This is about as even as something gets. If you need help at running back, which, I mean, wouldn't hurt to have Cook in that room. This is pretty fair. This comes down to, do you want to win right now or not? If you want to win right now, James Cook is pretty easily the option. D. Dakota Daily sending away Montgomery for Andrews in the 110. Hard to imagine you get much more value from Montgomery, but there is no tight end premium here, so Mark is probably not worth all that much. What if you could instead ask for Terrence Ferguson, okay, and Jaden Higgins, who just tore his ACL, and then you give back something small like Keon Coleman. What is on his head? Oh, is that a do-rag? I thought like our team put a cone on his head or something. I think that's a do-rag. I mean, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Can you send like your 305 or like your 205 or something? That's a counter I like. In the bag. Sending away a first for Tyson and a second. A late 27 first for Tyson and a second. I'm fine with that. Does suck that Tyson can't stay healthy, but, you know, a late first for an early first this year is not a bad offer. Brownie, would you send away McLaurin in a first for Lemon in a second? I'm pretty indifferent on this one. If you're trying to win right now, I would actually argue that you should keep Terry. But if you're trying to rebuild, I would... Here's the thing, though. I would only do this as a rebuilder if that is not your first set you're sending away. So this is pretty fair trade. Sensei says, please help. Don't worry, I got you. 1 quarterback, 8 team, small league, really small league. Sending away Gibbs and Smith for Achane, Pickens, and Olave. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I assumed your league, your team is pretty stacked. Right now, you're starting Daniels, Gibbs, Brown, Smith, Zay, Loveland, and then you're flexing Mike and Walker. Team is already pretty good, man. I think as much as this is a fair offer in like the smallest format possible, a 8-team league, Gibbs is probably not someone you can move at any cost. So I'm going to keep Gibbs there. Lutz sending away Allen, Dobbs, and Gadsden to get back Nix, Bucky, Mackay, and Gunner. It's a Dynasty Superflex Start 11 big league. So basically, would you trade away Josh Allen for Nix, Bucky, and Mackay? That's a pretty good return, especially in such a big format. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. I'm fine to do this trade personally. The site says you slightly lose, so I mean, could you add like a Manon guy here? Could you add a Concepcion and send back a Diggs? You know, there are a couple counters you could try, but I'm not disinterested by any means. Dynasty Superflex Start 10, sending away Walker and Boston for Scadaboo, Parker, and a first. Yeah, that's a pretty good price point for Ken Walker. Love Walker, but there's a lot of value there that's insulated. How can I connect CBS Sports line refund? I don't know what the question is, dude. What I need you to do, my friend, is go to our Discord. Okay. Go to our Discord. Go to site issues. And this is where our support team is. Or you can email support@flockfantasy.com. I can't help you here on the stream with that, but our team certainly would be able to. Guys, I said don't buy anything tonight. I love you all, but please don't buy anything. I have to get through this queue. Okay, Scotsman, Javonte in a first or Walker. Javonte in a first pretty easily. Love Ken Walker, but that's not even close. Three-way trade wouldn't let me add that in. Okay, so you send away Swift, Lamb, and Smith. You get back... I just can't imagine why you would do this. If you are really sending away Swift, Lamb, and Smith, and you're getting back Tate, Worthy, and Spears, not a chance I'm doing that, dude. Not a chance. Bears, it's a super message, and there's no text. So I'm going to assume... Look, I'm going to do this one time, but I can't go on the back end, guys, and look at your questions if they're like super long questions with the super messages. But let me try. He says, keeper question, 2-person league. Currently have Rice in round 4, McMillan in round 5. Could also do Warren in round 7 or Caleb in round 10. Trick. Round 7 for Rice. I could also possibly work Watson around 10. I think the answer there is pretty easily what you already have, dude. Rice and McMillan as the keepers in 4 and 5. Chip. It's a dynasty league. Superflex start 10. Says I really like Brees, but he doesn't have much. Doesn't value my first much. Yeah, look. What is this? What does your team look like if you did this? It's a good quarterback room. I mean, yeah. I have no problem pulling the trigger there on Brees Hall as an extra flex or RB depth. Kranslau sending away Rice in a second for McConkey in a first. I'll take McConkey in a first here. Love Rice, but that's a pretty good offer. Having a hard time using rankings for Yahoo Draft. Yeah, so steps to use the rankings, guys. The draft guide for all the redraft people out there. Go to posts on the Flock site. Okay. Log in with your username. All right. So, for example, there's my details there for the Flock site. I'll sign in. If you are, and then the cheat sheet is here. You click Yahoo. You follow the steps. Okay. If you are, if you sign up to the Flock site with like Google or Apple, we are trying to, we're trying to fix the issue that people are experiencing. And what we're trying to do is, if you use Google or Apple for Flock, verify by email instead, which means you put your email here. Okay, so if you sign up to the Flock site with Google or with Apple, put your email there and then click verify. And we think we've fixed that bug if people have that bug. Let me know if that answers your question, Turtles. If it doesn't, you know, side issues on the Discord is always helpful. Okay, Disco Stew. Sending away Dart for McMillan in a Superflex league. I'm pretty indifferent on this one. Have them 27-30 ranked overall, so It's a pretty fair trade. Caleb and Trevor's pretty good quarterback room already, so I think that's a pretty fair trade all around. Don't have a strong opinion either way. Okay, we did finally catch up on the trades, but my God, look at all these team reviews. Let's knock them out. Let's knock them out. Good Lord. Okay. We're going to start with the pro passes, which Shea is a pro pass. And I gotta... Oh, I just realized some of these are redraft team reviews. Oh my goodness. Wow. I think I need to disable the pro pass. Because I will not have time in season to do the pro passes. Or I just need to make it more expensive. I love all you guys, but I don't have time to do double playbooks in season. Let me think about this. Okay. I'll figure that out later. Let me just mark down and tell my designer which ones are redraft playbooks. So 427. Actually, no, I don't really want to do reviews on the redraft stream. Okay. Let's do it. All right, Shay. What's poppin', dude? Dude or dudette? Let's have a look at the squad. In fact, this is a redraft review. So let me pull up like a redraft review that I did last year. And I just need to remind myself the flow here. Sorry, guys. Give me a moment here. One momento. Uno momento, please. Uno momento. Oh, F off, brother. Come on. Sorry. The technology's pissing me off right now. Okay. Come on, Zach. You can do this, you old hag. Okay. 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 I need to remind myself exactly. Yeah. So we're close here. Okay. All right, Shay, you're the first redraft review of the year, dude. Okay. So this is a 1 quarterback start 7. So a single flex league. The site has you ranked. Well, it says your name is Bands Egbuka Dance. I might not even be able to do this because I'm assuming your name is. I'm gonna have to have the devs look at this. I'm gonna have to have the devs look at this because your name is not popping up. Let me just quickly submit this to the devs. Someone tell me if I'm an idiot if you can see his name. Like, I know we can see Egbuka, but I don't want to do an entire review and then, like, his, you know, he traded Egbuka or something. Like, I don't see Bands Egbuka Dance anywhere. I'm gonna get a call from my doctor in about 10 minutes, by the way. I'm like, I don't understand why some of you are even watching this stream. I love you all, but this is probably a terrible stream to watch. So in like 10 minutes, I'm just gonna mute my mic and talk to my doctor for like 5 minutes. And you guys are, some of you are literally just gonna watch me on mute. You guys are awesome. Okay, yeah. That makes sense, right? Okay. Okay, Shay, I'm gonna have to wait on yours. How many of these are redraft? Dynasty, 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 redraft. Okay, is your name Tank the Dots? Another one. Another one. Oh wait, no, he's here. He's here at 4. Okay. Okay. All right. I need to stand up. There are no rules for this stream, just so you know. Anything could be said. It's 4:20 p.m. where I am. It's 2:30 a.m. in New York. Okay, so there are no rules. Okay, who has a priority pass? Or pro pass? We've got DeSawyer. And it's a Dynasty League. Okay, so we're going to go to DeSawyer next. Some of you guys are funny. Okay, you're ranked 4th. You said, Clark has offered me 6 firsts for Ginty and Love. I've refused, but have been reconsidering. I plan on selling Kelsey when someone needs him. Same as Rodgers. I have considered selling Mahomes as well. DeBlanc has offered me a 28 or 29 first for and Jalen Millen for Mahomes, but I have refused. Yeah, 3 firsts. I don't know. For me, it's not enough for Ginty and Love. I'd probably need more like 7 to 8. But let's have a look at your team. You have your firsts in the future, which is good. The only players on your team, really, that I would say are untouchable are Ashton Ginty and Jeremiah Love. If I were you, I'd be trying to hold Tank Bigsby right now. Trey Harris. Matthew Golden. And yeah, Terrence Ferguson for sure. It's been cool to see him get some hype, huh, guys? All y'all people I told you to hold him. Hopefully you still got him on your teams. If you need to drop someone, Xavier Hutchinson, probably, even with the injury that just occurred. Roman Wilson. On the waiver wire, I'm assuming there's nothing. Nothing intriguing enough to, like, go crazy for. Okay. You could start Mahomes, Lawrence, Ginty, Love. Your receivers are god-awful. Oh, my God. And then Kraft. So I get why you want to rebuild. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. So. Yeah, I mean, I probably do lean like 1 year punt. And I probably would give this roster like a C. C flat. C flat feels fair. But at least you have a lot of good draft capital. Give you an A- for your draft capital. Okay, so you said you had an offer of 6 first rounders for Jeremiah Love and Ashton Ginty. And that was from who? Clark? I don't know if he changed his name or something. I don't know who Clark is. I don't know if he changed his team name. DeBlanc offered you a first in Jalen McMillan. Yeah, not super interested in that either. Yeah, a single first for... None of these are good offers, dude. None of these are good offers. So I'm just going to come up with better offers for you, okay? So if you want to sell Love and Ginty, first off, you do not have to as a rebuilder. Your team is already bad enough. You're not going to win many games, okay? Honestly, I don't think you really have to sell anyone. Maybe Keenan Allen, you know, for any second would be ideal. But you do not need to sell Ashton Ginty or Jeremiah Love. In fact, if you do sell them, you're looking for 4 first-round picks. Because whoever's buying them is a contender. You don't want 3 late firsts. That's nothing. It's not helping you rebuild. Let's see. Who could... this guy would be interesting. So like, could you get 3 for either of them? Could you get 3 first rounders plus like Luther Burden? Right? Something like that would be intriguing to me. 3 first rounders plus the Schultuten. I don't even know if I like that, but I like the Burden one a lot more. I don't hate the idea of like an Igbuka for either. If they can't afford 3, can you get 2 from them plus a Zay and you sell a Zay? But honestly, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say this, but your team is already bad enough where you don't really need to go selling off a bunch of assets. Like, you need something to build around. Ginty and Love are that something. Kraft is probably not going to be dominant straight away anyway. You could consider selling Mahomes, but you need to get at least 2 mid-future firsts. You can't settle for less than that, dude. So, if I were you, I'd be very patient with this roster. I'd go into the year probably as is. The only people that I think you really like need to sell is probably Keenan Allen and Aaron Rodgers. And I would get any second for those guys. Outside of that, dude, just chill. Your team is already bad. You don't need to go selling off the little bit of assets that you have. You know what I mean? Like, to build around. But I'm going to give you this pro pass. You can come back and submit another team review. You can't buy a pro pass with this voucher you're about to receive, though. Okay? Appreciate you. Okay. The next pro pass is from T Fudge. So let's go to T Fudge here. I might get a call from my doctor at any moment. So we're going to put a pause on the... I'll be back. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, there will be like any time in the next 5 minutes I'm gonna have to pause again because my doctor's calling me. Anyway, let's try and get through these the time that we have. Okay. Let's go to T-Fudge. T-Fudge. Okay. Okay, this is my doctor, sorry. Give me a second. Okay, we're back. T-Fudge in the building. What's up, T-Fudge? Thanks for submitting. Your team name is Fudge Packer. This is not a countdown stream for the Flock League draft. No. I'm just trying to get the queue done here. Okay, coming up on year 3 in the league, runner-up in the first year, member of the pack last year, contending team, but aging as well. You are currently ranked 10th in the league. Okay. And you don't have your first and 27. Not ideal. That does tell me we are probably going to be Windows open, which means we want to try and win right now. Without our first this year, there's no reason not to try. You're starting Hurts, Herbert, Taylor, Bucky, Rice, Smith, Ferguson, Higgins, Waddle. Yeah, it's not a bad team, honestly. On the bench, Brooks, Diggs. Diggs was a big pick for you. Yeah, not a bad team. I would say it's certainly not some elite team, but I could see this team making the playoffs. I'm like probably on like that C+ range for a team like this. I wouldn't say you have any untouchable players. Players that I would want to hold, probably DeAndre Swift, given you're trying to compete right now. Jonathan Brooks. Stephon Diggs. You know, these like old vets that could probably help you win at the moment. No reason to sell them. Players that you can drop if you want to clear space. Darius Slayton. Don't see a reason why he should be rostered at this point anymore. And probably Brennan Thompson. On the waiver wire, yeah, I'd rather roster Terrence Ferguson and Jordan James than those names. So, We'll add those names down for you here. Cool. Let's come up with some ideas here. You have the first from a team called Neighbors Think, which is ranked second. That's a pretty good team. That first is probably not that valuable. I would probably suggest to trade that first to contend this year. And ideally, it would be helpful for you to acquire another running back with that pick. So it isn't a tight end premium. I wouldn't focus too much on the tight ends. You don't need to sell this first right now, by the way. You could wait, but I think a running back is pretty ideal to add for a squad like this. Let me get some examples for you. So a Kyren Williams, a Chase Brown would be great. A Breece Hall would be awesome. Javonte Williams would be pretty perfect for your fit right now, for your build, your team. Yeah, those are probably the main running backs. I don't think you need to make another move right now, honestly. That first, you'll probably want to use in season if you need, like, if an injury occurs and let's say Herbert or Hurts get hurt, you need a quarterback. You can keep that first for in season. If your tight ends go down and you need to buy a tight end, great. But otherwise, these are the kind of the names that I would suggest to go after. Cam Scatterboo isn't a terrible bet either there. Bashul Tutin, I don't think I would do Bashul Tutin, honestly. CMC is kind of like all in, all in. Quinshon Judkins, you know, those are that's the full list of names you could probably consider there. But yeah, man, it's a good team. I would hold right now, plan to compete in season. If you need those first, you can go ahead and send them away to compete. And then keep your 28 first, because if things go sideways, you want that flexibility of being able to reload or rebuild in the next season in 2028. So I am going to go ahead and make sure I give you that team review voucher for your Pro Pass purchase. Keep in mind, with that Pro Pass, you can't, with that voucher that you just got, you can't go buy another Pro Pass. So just keep that in mind. I just realized I never even turned on the lights here. There you go. You can probably see me a little better now. Okay, yeah. Appreciate you, man. Okay. How many reviews do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. My God. Okay. None are Pro Passes anymore. So let's go Motionless Advisor. And let me see if the devs responded at all. They did not. Makes sense. It's really late. Motionless Advisor. Let's look at your team. Professor is here as a team name. You're currently ranked second. It is a 1 quarterback start 8 format. Okay. You said, really love the Flock League, really entertaining. Looking for suggestions. Came in 3rd last year, and we are in our 2nd year in this new league. My wide receivers are strong but lacking running backs. Looking for any suggestions? Start 8, 2 flex, PPR scoring, 6-point passing touchdown. Good luck in the flock league. Bring Junko. Appreciate you, man. Very kind of you. Okay, so our untouchables on a team like this: JSN, Puka Nakua, certainly pass the bar as untouchables. Players that you would like to hold, or I would like to hold: Emeka Egbuka certainly fits that range for me. Kyle Monangai fits that range for me. It's cool to see everybody with their new uniforms, you know. Antonio Williams, Zachariah Branch, I'm definitely down to hold. Players that you could drop if you needed to: Najee Harris. I'm not saying you have to, but if you needed to, you could drop him. And Jalen Naylor. I don't think you should drop these guys, but if you had to, those would be the first 2 names. But there's no one interesting enough on the waiver wire. Knowles interesting. Arroyo's interesting. So there's no one there that I think you have to go pick up. You are starting in this league. 1 quarterback, start 8. Burrow, Jacobs, Henderson, Puka, Neighbors, or Puka, JSN, Loveland, Neighbors, Egbuka. That is 8. That is your 8. So your bench is quite weak, honestly, but your starting lineup is very, very strong. So I would probably put this right there in... I'll put you in that contender range. And I'd probably give you a B flat as a team grade. So I think we can go out there and contend this year. I wouldn't make any moves right now if I were you. Some of these moves might be more like suggestions for in season if you need. Like, I wouldn't think it's wise to tell you to sell your first, and then, like, what if Egbuka doesn't come back when we want him to, or Neighbors isn't fully ready, or Jacobs gets suspended, or Burrow goes down, or Henderson isn't what we want him to be. There's a lot of questions. Still, we need to make sure this team comes together in, like, the first 4 weeks, and then you can use that first. But if you were to use that first, I'd probably be using it on a running back. And we actually just had a really good list of running backs that we had for D Sawyer's team. I would say, no, it wasn't D Sawyer. Who was it? It was T Fudge. I would say it's that same list for you, dude. Like, in season, if you feel comfortable, this is the hit list. If you're like, okay, my team is thriving, but I need a running back, or Jacobs is suspended, or Henderson is not pulling his weight, then this is the group. Like, you can trade for a Breece, a Javonte, whoever is hitting on all cylinders, that veteran. Those are the names that would make a lot of sense for you to go out and add to your roster. You could also, if you wanted to right now, see if Laporta could net you back one of those names. Like, could you do any of these names for Laporta? I know it's no premium, but like, if the McCaffrey owner wants to get off of him, if the Scatterboot owner is concerned about him, Javonte is not highly valued in a lot of dynasty leagues. Probably can't get Breece, Kyron, or Chase Brown. But yeah, I think that's not an insane idea. Do any of the teams who have running backs have a tight end need? The Kenyon Sadiq owner has Javonte. That could be perfect. That could be a perfect trade for you. The Kelsey owner has Bucky and Scatterboot. Yeah, Bucky Irving. Add that name there. Of course, you don't have to sell Laporta, by the way, if you want a backup. CMC, that could work. Breece Hall, Kyron Williams could work. So right now, again, if I were you, I'm probably chilling. I'm probably waiting until the season begins, but these are your points where you can sell players in season, whether it's Laporta or that first. You're pretty strong everywhere else, man. Don't need help at quarterback. Don't need help at tight end. Your receivers are great. Obviously, it'd be nice to have like a little bit more depth there at receiver. But that top 4 is so strong. I think that could really carry you to a championship if the running backs hit the right way. Appreciate you big time for letting me look at the squad. And good team you've put together there. Well done. Again, guys, I am only streaming tonight just to try and get through all of these reviews. Please don't buy anything. Please don't buy anything. The queue is already so long. Let me try and get through this queue, and then maybe next week you guys buy something. Okay. T-Mac. What's up, T-Mac? Let's look at your squad. The Diplomacy Victory. The Diplomacy Victory is the team name. You are currently ranked, I'm guessing 9th there. Yeah, that's you at 9. So not a great sign out the bat. Out the gates, rather, is what I should say. No context, but it is a Dynasty Superflex Start 10. Okay. Let's have a look. So, no firsts in any of the upcoming years. That is not a good sign when you are ranked 9th, dude. That instantly puts you as a Windows open team. You have no firsts. You have no seconds. There's no reason not to compete. But man, that's not an ideal spot to be in, where you're ranked 9th and no future picks that matter. You are starting. Yeah, dude. You can't. Cam Ward and Sam Darnold as a quarterback too. Don't love that, but Purdy and one of those guys. Hampton, Price. Don't love relying on a rookie like Price straight away, but it could work. McMillan, Rice, Fannin. Then you're flexing Burden, McConkey. What, I guess Wandale? You have to flex Wandale? Yeah, this isn't... Look, I want to be positive, but I also want to be transparent. This is not a good team in Dynasty. You're going to need everyone to stay healthy, and you're going to need everyone to perform, and you have no draft capital to improve. You cannot improve this team unless it's by tearing down from a player, and there's not even like a top 10 asset on this team. You don't have a JSN, a Bijan, a Gibbs that you can tear down from. So this is not ideal, dude. This is not ideal. Okay. Amarion Hampton is the closest thing you have to an untouchable, but you don't really have an untouchable on the team. You should hold for sure Wandale Robinson. Brenton Strange even. Jonathan Brooks. Kenny Gainwell. You need to hold those guys. If you want to drop some players, Darnell Mooney you could drop if you needed to. If you had to, I don't really want to drop any of those other names. Is there anybody on the waiver wire? No, but Cyrus Allen is at least a fun name that you have there, which I haven't ranked in Dynasty yet. So let me add him. Cyrus Allen, where would I rank him? I'd still be pretty skeptical, but 51 feels fair for Cyrus. On the waiver wire, there really isn't anything interesting. Unfortunately, it's a pretty naked waiver wire, so you don't need to drop anybody. But man, like I can't really give you many good trade ideas, dude, because again, you don't have any players that you can tear down from, and you certainly don't have depth that you can sacrifice, and you don't have any draft capital. Like, maybe you find a team that likes Oronde Gadsden. Maybe that's your pressure point. But you're going to find it hard to trade in this league right now. And I'm saying that as someone's like, if I was a contender, I looked at your team, I'm like, what would I even want? I don't know. You're going to have to just hope everybody stays healthy, dude. You really don't have any leverage against this league. I mean, you could try something like Gadsden for like a Derrick Henry. You know, that is maybe the one thing that makes sense. Or a DeAndre Swift. Okay, or a David Montgomery. What are some receivers that can make sense? Like Jordan Addison. Trying to think of like low end flexes. Mike Evans. Parker Washington could be fun, but it's going to be almost impossible to get Parker Washington. Those level of names. You could actually maybe get Alec Pierce. You already have Wandale. Oh, yeah, but I don't know why I'm saying that. Yeah. Alec Pierce maybe could make sense. But yeah, dude, transparently, you don't have any leverage. You've kind of built this bed for yourself. You might have to lay in it. You have to hope that you have a quarterback too that's worthy. That Price or Brooks are ready to go. That Burden breaks out. That Rice stays healthy. McConkey is good again. Yeah. And it's not like I can tell you to rebuild because it would take so much to get all your picks back. I'm sorry this wasn't more positive, but what you need ideally is to go into the season, everybody stays healthy, you're competitive straight away, and that's your path. Maybe there's a player who breaks out and you can tear down from him for more depth. But right now, you need to be patient because you have given yourself no leverage at all to be aggressive in the trade market. Okay, Ant Kipt. What's up, Ant Kipt? How you doing? How you living? How you feeling? Just Him Fields is a team name, which is a little bit scary. Hopefully we're not relying on Justin Fields. Currently ranked 5th in this league. You said, and it's there's a premium here. It's a Superflex start 9. So keep that in mind. Superflex start 9. Okay. Stuck in the first round of the playoffs the past few years, looking to see how I can upgrade at positions and maybe lock down foundational players too. I just traded the 2026 206 and Ramondre for Matthew Stafford to get my quarterback too. Okay. Let's have a look. We have our firsts in the future. Okay. So the untouchables on a team like this would be Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson. Those would be your main untouchables. Players that you should hold. Travis Hunter, it's getting harder to see a great future, but he's not worth trading. Chika Okonkwo, Jake Ferguson. Those are guys that are worth holding on your squad for sure. Players that you can drop. Kendrick Bourne. Taj Brooks. You could drop either of those guys if you needed to clear up space. Tyson Bagent. There's no one really on the waiver wire, though, that's worth picking up at this present moment in time. Okay, so your starting lineup is Caleb Stafford, Bijan Bucky, Jefferson Pickens, Gadsden Smith. That last flex spot is really not nice, but instead of Hunter, you could put Wandale, Dobbins, Chuba. So it could be worse, honestly. You have all your picks, so there's definitely flexibility there. This feels like a, with Bijan and Jefferson, this feels like a solid, I'd say a solid B- squad. B- feels like a fair look at this team, and I'd call you a sleeper. Certainly not the favorite in your team, but that first is from McConkey Kongs, and they are ranked last. Oof. Their team sucks. Do not sell McConkey Kong's first round pick. Okay? Don't do it. Don't sell McConkey Kong's first round pick. But you could sell your first round pick. Now, I've told many people this. You don't need to do this right now. You can wait until in season and see what you really need. I would guess that your need is going to be either tight end or running back or quarterback. So anything but receiver. Let's see. Are there any teams that maybe something would make sense with? Well, it's a no-brainer. If you can get Colston Loveland, then you get Colston Loveland. In this format, Tyler Warren makes sense too. Don't think you get Bowers or McBride, but at running back, all the names that we've listed with some of the other teams make a lot of sense here too. So, for example, Kyron, Chase Brown, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, that group can make a lot of sense for you. Again, in season, if you need a running back, if there's not enough oomph there, you could use that pick, your pick, not the other guy's pick. Hold the other guy's pick for dear life. And then, of course, if Stafford has some injury, there are always the Dak Prescotts of the world, the Jared Goffs of the world, right? So right now, I think you've got a great team, good draft capital, plenty of flexibility. Go into the season ready to compete. If you need to make a move, the draft capital is there for you. Don't sell that guy's first. That's a big X factor for next year. And yeah, I like the team, man. Thanks for letting me look at it. Okay. Let's go to Mike here. What is up, Mike Betts Cook? Let's look at the squad, dude. Feel It Down in My Plums is the team name. And you are ranked 8th, so not ideal to be ranked that low. Hopefully we have our draft capital. He says, okay, it's a super flex, start 10. He says, okay, I've tanked. I've traded my futures to pick at 101 and other first, yielding Caleb Genty, but miss many others. Desperately need elite quarterback too, or better to compete in this league. Do I trade 29 first, second, and third, plus a guy like Brian Thomas for J-Love plus T-Mac or a similar deal? Hate it here. Please help. Your trade question we'll get back to later on. Okay. Oh, jeez. Dude, what did you do, Mike? What am I looking at? Dude. You have no picks? goodness gracious. Okay. How are we going to turn this around for you? Because this is not great. This is not great. Okay. Players we're going to hold. Let's start there. Jameson Williams. We're going to hold JMO. Bashul Tootin. Shedeur Sanders, because you have to hope that he's starting. Players that you could drop. Barian Brown. Bryce Lance. All right, I'm not going to write all these down. But if you want to drop, you can drop Barian Brown, Bryce Lance, Brennan Thompson, Malik Benson, Darren Waller. If you needed to, you could drop all those guys. I'm guessing your waiver wire has nothing. Which it doesn't. So, yeah, I get why you have those guys rostered. Okay. What an absolute mess, dude. You asked me if you should send your 29 picks away. Gosh, dude, your picks in 29 might be super valuable. This team is messy. 29 first, second, and third, plus Brian Thomas for Jordan Love and Tetairoa McMillan. Here's the thing. It's not actually a bad trade. Like, this team is significantly better with Tet McMillan and Jordan Love. But I also just hate that you're going so deep into this hole for such a mid team. Jeez, dude, this is rough. Okay. You need to you probably do need to move Brian Thomas for a quarterback. So who needs wide receiver and has excess at quarterback? This guy doesn't need receiver. Has quarterback excess, though. Like, could you get somewhere between Bo Nix and Dak Prescott, you know, for Brian Thomas? I'd be interested in that. A Jared Goff deal is interesting too. Certainly would love Jalen Hurts. Oh, but dude, your receiver room is not good either. Ugh, brother, you've put yourself in one mighty hole. This guy might be tanking, so you might be able to, you know, cook up a Brock Purdy trade. He doesn't have his first. Where does his first go? My goodness. Okay. Look, the trade that you mentioned is actually not terrible. I just hate the idea of you going so deep into the hole without draft picks. This idea gets you a starting quarterback too. Okay. And you lose Brian Thomas, but your lineup becomes Caleb and one of those quarterbacks, Genty, Scat, for now, JMO, Pierce, Warren. And then you'd be flexing Tootin, I guess, Lemon, Coker. Okay. That's really the best we can try for right now. Only other thing I could think of is if you moved Tyler Warren. Okay. How about Tyler Warren? How about Tyler Warren and Bo Nix? It's a tight end premium in your league. That could work. Can you send them a second to net back a Dalton Kincaid? I would love that trade for you. That would definitely help. Alternatively, you can send a third and try to get back Terrence Ferguson. That might be your saving grace there. Brad McMuffin, I already explained that this guy is in a hole. He's probably not going to be able to get these quarterbacks, but I'm giving him every option. All right, I already explained that earlier. But yeah, dude, you've put yourself in a hole. Certainly not an ideal position to be in. I think your best bet is with the Warren move for a Knicks, which is definitely doable in a tight end premium. Let me double check. There's no other teams that have a need at tight end. Yeah, I don't want to go Cam Ward here. Kyler Murray's not crazy. Like a Kyler Murray plus, but the thing is I don't love any pluses here. Yeah. Those are your main options, dude. Look. This is like worst case scenario, sending your 29 first. This team is not good. I think Warren needs to be your leverage for that quarterback too. And the good news is the guy who has Knicks is like a perfect fit. So that is really where I think you could get something done. But not an ideal team. Hopefully this is one that we learn from and our next Dynasty team is in a better spot when we're building it. Because you've made quite a few mistakes with that one. Okay, let's go to Cool Mac. What's up, Cool Mac? Start 11. Superflex is quite big, bro. You're currently ranked first. Says won a championship last year, just trying to have a game plan on what to do going into this year. I feel like I should definitely be a contender again this year. Any help with trade options to improve my team for a championship run this year would be awesome. Love your content. Keep it up. Appreciate you, dude. Big old tight end premium there too. You don't have your first. This is a very, very good team. Wow, this is the first time on the stream I've looked at a really genuine good team today. So, Trey McBride and untouchable in this format for sure. Players that I would like to hold on this team. Ty Simpson and Matthew Stafford, because you've got that quarterback 3 lockdown no matter what. In this format, Greg Dulcich is somewhat interesting to me. Players that you could drop if you need to. Barry and Brown. I don't understand why a bunch of people are rostering Barry and Brown. Andre Yeshivas. You could absolutely drop. Cope, I don't know enough about Devi to give you an answer on that, bro. I am no longer in the Devi world as much as I can be because it's just way too unpredictable. On the waiver wire, there's not really anything interesting enough for me to suggest for you to go out and pick up. Unfortunately, that's a pretty naked waiver wire. Okay, but we are starting. Herbert Purdy, H.N. Brown, London, Higgins, McBride, Waddle, Henry. Then I guess we go Johnston, Mackay. Not bad. Pretty good team. You're certainly all in without your first round pick this year and your second. Overall team grade as of today. Kind of lean like a, while you don't have your own picks, this is a very well constructed team. So like we said, windows open, and I would probably go B flat for this one. It's a good team. Okay. Who owns that? You own that first. They hit the second Bauer as a team name, and that team is quite bad. Yeah, I don't think you can sell that pick. You need to hold on to that pick. The BT21 in 2028. Yeah, you could probably sell that one if you needed to. So that's your leverage point if you need to make a trade, BT21. I don't personally feel like you need to make some drastic move right now. You could certainly improve like your last flex spot. So, you know, that same group of running backs, if you wanted to add a running back with that 28 first, only difference would be, obviously in this scenario, it's a 28 first instead. With it being a start 11, I'd be comfortable to move that pick for any of those names. At receiver, you know, you've already got a Waddle. Let's see. So at receiver, I would probably say like Jameson Williams is a decent option there. Unless you already have him. Let me double check. No, you don't have Jameson Williams. He'd be a good flex for you. One of those last flex spots. A.J. Brown. Right? Devonta Smith. Zay Flowers would be great. Garrett Wilson. There's a world where someone is out on Garrett Wilson for sure in plenty of dynasty leagues. Yeah, I love the team. I'm not suggesting you have to make one of these moves right now, but I am suggesting that if you wanted to in season to kind of give yourself that last, like if Johnson's not performing or Mackay's not ready, you know, you could totally go out there and make a move like this. But yeah, so to recap, I would definitely hold Simpson and Stafford. I want to keep the quarterback with Sean McVay long term, and you're able to do that there while competing. Don't think you need to sell Henry as you're trying to compete right now. McBride is someone that you don't really want to move given the 0.75 premium in this format. I wouldn't trade away that first in 27 because that's from a really bad team. I would hold on to that quite tightly. And yeah, well done on a really well built team. Congratulations. That's a fun one. Okay. Ecstatic Guard. What's up, Ecstatic Guard? Love Thy Neighbor is the team name. And this is a 1 quarterback start 8. So small league. Only 10 team. Small lineup. You are ranked first in this league. He says 10 teams start 8, have 3 first and 27. 2 of them are from the team projected to miss 2 playoffs. Do I want to use them to get a player like Bijan or Gibbs, or should I try somewhere cheaper like Christian and just ride with what I have for now? Let's have a look, dude. Oh, come on, man. You don't need to make a single move. This is absolutely a team that you just ride with what you have. Yeah, I mean, come on. This is a fantastic team. Players that you could hold. Carnell Tate. He might start off a little bit slow. You could wait on Bashul Tootin with a squad like this. Antonio Williams. Omar Cooper is certainly not off to the hottest start. Players that you could drop if you needed to. Keon Coleman. Troy Franklin. I know it sounds crazy, but I wouldn't be opposed to it if there's someone on the waiver wire that makes sense. Which I'd rather roster Kyler Murray personally. I'd rather roster Tank Bigsby. So, yeah, I'd be fine to make those moves. But yeah, fantastic team. Let's think about this. You are starting Burrow, Love, Walker, Jason, Amon-Ra, Bowers, Neighbors, Tate. And if it's not Tate, it's Marvin, Wandale, Scatterboo, Tootin. Dude, you don't need to make a single move. Okay? This is maybe not a Thanos, but it is a juggernaut for sure. This is a juggernaut, and I would give you an A. Yeah, dude, incredible team. You really can't improve this team. I mean, truly, you can't improve a team like this. If you want to use you said you had 3 first, but I only see 2. So you may have already made some moves here. Let's see, what first would we use if we were to use it? Dear Basketball, Steelers. Yeah, I don't really want to use any of these first, dude. I honestly don't want to make a trade. What you could do is you could package like Marvin Harrison and Wandale Robinson. And let's say like a 28 second or something. Right? And then with that package, you could go out and you could target an upgrade like a Nico Collins. Don't know how high you can get there though. Chris Olave is always affordable in Dynasty for some reason. George Pickens potentially. You'd have to find someone who's in on Marvin. It's not going to be easy. Probably can't get Emeka Egbuka, but I'd be willing to do that as well. But dude, we're picking hairs here. You don't need to make a single move. You can go into the season exactly as this team is, and you can win a championship. That's just one small move I might consider if I were you. But congratulations on one hell of a team. You absolutely smashed it, and you are going to be a competitive team for a long, long time. Okay, let's go to locked here. What's up, locked? Aztec Empire is the team name. And you are ranked... Oh, dead last, 12th. Not good sign. Need help with next steps with the team. Would love some help. Okay. So start 9, super flex. Okay, I'm worried. Okay, this could be worse. So, obviously, the Untouchables on your team. Jahmyr Gibbs. That's it. You don't have another untouchable. Players that you should hold. Well, you don't have your own first in any upcoming year, which sucks. You might actually need to trade Gibbs, depending on what the rest of this lineup looks like. So, windows open without your firsts. Terry McLaurin is a strong hold given that. Matthew Stafford, a strong hold given that. DeAndre Swift. Devonta Smith. You know, these guys that could help you win right now. Players that you could drop. This has got to be a glitch. I don't know why Barian Brown keeps showing. But if you have him, you could drop him. I doubt the waiver wire is full of players that are interesting here. Yeah, none of these guys are interesting. At this point of the season, most waiver wires are dead. Okay, so you are starting in this format. Baker, Kyler, Gibbs, Scat, Smith, Jamo, Laporta, Swift, Pierce. Honestly, could be worse, but I am shocked that this team being very average has no real capital in the future. That is kind of shocking. Like, I don't know exactly where your capital went. Yeah. Because of the lack of capital and the lack of like stars, I'd probably give you a C flat, but like it is not as bad as I thought it would be. So right now, technically you do not need to make a move. Okay. It's probably beneficial for you to hold because you can start Baker, Kyler, or Stafford, Gibbs, Swift, let's say, Smith, Terry, Laporta, and then flex, Scat, Jamo. And you've got some players on your bench. But I would say if you need depth, okay, that is where you could consider a Jahmyr Gibbs tier down. I'm not suggesting you do that now. I don't think you have a move to make right now before the season begins, but if you end up needing depth, like your receiver room sucks or, you know, players are just not performing, you could tier down off of a Gibbs, and I'll show you what that could look like. So, for example, I'm going to say Hampton plus, but there's no plus there. Yeah, so Devon Achane plus George Pickens, right? There's a tier down that could make sense if you were in a pickle. Maybe you could add on a DJ Moore or a Christian Watson. Chase Brown, CeeDee Lamb. You certainly want to get a premium for Gibbs if you sell him. Walker London is interesting. Ken Walker plus Drake London. Again, these are break glass scenarios. These are not trades that you're ideally needing to make. Neighbors. Malik Neighbors plus Jonathan Taylor is a no-brainer, but probably not going to get done. And the other option would be Puka Tootin. Puka Nakua plus Bashul Tootin, right? Probably not many other options here. No, nobody else has like a good solid one too. So right now you kind of hold with the way things are. Go into the season. Obviously, your hope is that Scatterboo is good to go straight away. Baker bounces back. So does Kyler Murray. Devonta is the wide receiver 1 confidently. Alec Pierce is healthy. There's absolutely a scenario here where this team can make the playoffs as is constructed. If that doesn't happen and a bunch of guys are struggling, then you could look at what is a good tear down off of Jahmyr Gibbs. But in an ideal world, you keep the best player in fantasy football. Hopefully that's helpful, man. Appreciate you. Okay, Hop. What's up, Hop K? Like a Good Neighbors is the team name. You are currently ranked 4th. And it is a Superflex start 9. We've had a couple of those tonight. It's my night now in Sydney, Australia here. Positional grades. You're ranked 1st at quarterback, 11th at running back, 6th at wide receiver, and 8th at tight end. First time auction startup, planned to go just 2 quarterbacks after May and Nix, but value on Dak was too much to pass up. Like top heavy at wide receiver, but didn't have the funds to build out the running back room in depth. Rookie draft next week. I am priced at the 105, but Mendoza rumored to fall to me. Thanks. Okay. All right. Not too bad. Not too shabby. All right. Let's have a look. Untouchables. Drake May, but I actually would consider a tear down of May in this scenario. I'd like to hold Jaylen Warren, Matthew Golden, Jordan James. You could drop Savion Williams if you wanted to. Taj Brooks if you wanted to. I'm guessing the waiver wire is empty. And yes, it is. Okay. Certainly wouldn't say that you're some favorite team right now. You have a fine... It's very top heavy across the board. But yeah, I'd probably give you a C+, and I'd give you the sleeper tag. Certainly not a favorite by any means, but strong team from coming out of an auction draft. And you've got decent capital there. So you're starting May, Nix, or Dak, Tootin, Warren, Neighbors, Pickens, Laporta, but then like your depth is just shot to hell. I think you could compete this year, but it would include tearing down off of Drake May, or even just going really far off of Drake May and rolling with Nix and Dak. Let's have a look. So the guy who has Daniels, what the it's so easy to tell that this is an auction draft because look at these teams, dude. What the hell am I looking at? Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, so like Brock Purdy plus CeeDee Lamb is a no-brainer, but probably not going to happen coming out of a startup like this, you know, and that might be asking too much. Is there a more reasonable trade out there? It's going to be hard to make moves right now, dude, right after a startup. I'll be honest with you. I don't hate something like Dart, Bucky, Olave. Bucky Irving plus Chris Olave. Don't hate that at all. Again, these type of trades will happen in a lot of leagues. Maybe not in your league coming straight off a startup. Trevor, I'd be interested. It's just there's not much here. Okay. Yeah, this could be fun. So like Jordan Love plus a Emeka Egbuka plus a first. You know. Okay, come on. Emeka Egbuka. If not Emeka Egbuka, then obviously, like, you know, Drake London, you could shoot higher first if you wanted to. Don't think you get Amon-Ra St. Brown. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know, those names. Yeah, not a ton of options coming out, coming directly off a startup, unfortunately, my guy. Everybody's teams are going to be so limited. Everybody's going to have weaknesses. But the alternative is that you were to sell like a Dak. But honestly, here's the problem. Like, you selling Dak on its own is not going to fix your problems. Yeah. And I think Jadarian Price is ideal for you. But if you end up going Mendoza at the 105, then I would probably go into the season and just look for opportunities to maximize value. A Mendoza trade, a May tear down, a Prescott into a young wide receiver plus picks. That's probably the direction I would take this team. Be patient with it. Have little to no expectations in this league. I don't think I can plan out a scenario for you in which you're like fully ready to go this year and all your questions are answered, you know. You're going to have to be a little bit patient with this one, but I think the Drake May tear down eventually is what would put you in a competitive spot rolling with Knicks and Prescott. But I appreciate you, man. Auctions are always fun, but they typically lead to really weird teams. And I think you're seeing that with your league, which does make trading sometimes difficult. All right, Fawnern is here. What's up, dude? Brock Blocking is the team name. You are in a one quarterback start 7. You are ranked 7th in this league. Okay. League is half PPR with a 0.5 premium. Start 7. Yep. 3 IDP. Okay, and it's ran by 2 really good teams. Obviously, I won't be able to see your IDP, but at least it's one quarterback, because if this was Superflex, you would be in a terrible position. You've got multiple firsts in the upcoming seasons. So I don't know what your defensive players are, but For offense, you're starting Willis, Judkins, Jacobs, McConkey, Zay, Bowers, Harrison. No reason why you couldn't hypothetically compete if the defensive players on your team are really, really good. There's a tight end premium too, which is a big X factor with Brock Bowers. So yeah, this is not a bad team. I'm going to lean like a B minus and call you a sleeper as well. I think you could easily flip this as well into a 1-year punt if things don't go your way either. But for now, Marvin Harrison in your scenario is probably worth holding. Carson Beck, Tua Tagovailoa, Keenan Allen. See if these guys have any value. Players that you could drop. Yeah, I mean, Rashawn Johnson, I'm shocked, is still on some team. You can let go of him. Same with John Mechie and Andre Yeshivas. I'm going to guess your waiver wire is terrible if those names are here. I mean, I'd rather roster Darnell Washington than some of these guys, but yeah, pretty bad waiver wire. Good amount of capital. Unfortunately, you don't have your first in 2028, so you definitely need to be competitive by at least next year. But yeah, I would say as is, we're going to rock into the season. I mean, could you sell Keenan Allen? Like Keenan and Carson Beck for a veteran. It's a 1 quarterback format, so I doubt quarterbacks are going to cost that much, you know. But I mean, could you do that for like Daniel Jones or CJ Stroud? Cam Ward, Kyler Murray, you know, probably not even able to go that high, but Tyler Shuck, I don't know. Just thinking out loud here. Can you use some of the scraps to maybe get a little bit of a better answer there at quarterback? If not, that's fine. Go into the season with what you have. Willis will start plenty of games. Hopefully he'll start for the rest of the year. If Willis ends up losing his job and you're really competitive, you have 3 picks that you could use to figure out quarterback. That's not a very good pick. Gay for May. M-Shake. M-Shake's pick you have to hold. That could end up being a really, really good pick, so please hold that. But the 27 first from this gentleman, Team 4. You could turn that into a quarterback plus something. Like a Purdy plus a Waddle. Right? And again, maybe you add on like a Keenan Allen or something. Or a 2nd round pick or whatever it ends up taking. Baker Brown. Yeah. Yeah. Olave Stroud would be fun, depending on how much it costs. But yeah, I mean, The opposite side is like if you end up selling, you know, Josh Jacobs goes, a lot of people go. Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift. I guess that's the main guys that you would want to sell. Keenan if he's worth anything, right? Swift, any first in any year. Same for Jacobs. Assuming you don't get that for either. Jacobs you would just hold. And Swift you would take like multiple early seconds. Right? So that's a game plan, dude. That's a game plan. Good team. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. Okay. Let me quickly tell the dev something. Okay. Tank Witty. Let's do it, Tank. Let's do it. We're on the home stretch. Last review here of the night. Tank of the Dots is the team name. You are in a 1 quarterback start 8. Oh, this is a redraft league. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me just do this a little bit differently. So if you're seeing this Tank Witty later, I am doing your review on my Dynasty channel. That's why it looks different, okay? But you're in a 1 quarterback, 10 team, start 8. So it's a smaller league because it's only 10 team, but it is start 8. It's 2 flex. You are currently ranked 4th in the league. And he says, what do you think about this full PPR draft? Let's have a look. So you end up starting Caleb Williams, Hampton, Etienne, Chase, AJ Brown, Pitts, and then you're flexing Burden and Henderson or Addison or Wandale. It's a good team, man. Really good job. Honestly, this is a good squad. I would probably give you... It's a really well put together team. There really isn't any hole, I would say. I'd give you a B+ pretty easily. Depth importance in this league, in a 10 team league, is not very high, right? So I'd probably say, like, when you're looking at trades, don't be the guy that's getting the 2 and a 2-for-1, right? Typically you want to be the guy who's getting the best player in a deal every time. I would not move Jamar Chase. He's an untouchable in this format. I would not move Omarion Hampton. Those are your pillars. Those are the guys that you want to keep on the team. Let's stash Jordan Addison for now. Keep him on the squad. Let's stash Rachaad White. If you need to go to the waiver wire, there's plenty of great quarterback options. Honestly, dude, I do think that Kenneth Gainwell deserves to be rostered. And I'd probably prefer Chigakonkwo over Mark Andrews for now, but that's very small. So I don't mind if you have a strong opinion there. Also, Xavier Worthy is drafted in most formats, but for the cut forecast, we're going to put Mark Andrews. and let's put it at 2 weeks. If you don't hear anything positive in 2 weeks, you can cut him and go add one of those other names. But yeah, dude, really good team. Really well done. Like, if I were you, actually, I really like Rachaad White, but I'd probably instantly try to upgrade that flex by packaging Rachaad White and Wan'Dale Robinson. And then, you know, Rachaad White, Wan'Dale Robinson. Let's think about this. What upgrade could we do? You know, could you go get a DeAndre Swift, for example? If not Swift, could you get Brian Thomas? Let's see. Yeah, I would probably do this for DJ Moore as well. Doesn't have to be a ridiculous upgrade. Rome Odunze. And it's not that I dislike these players and I'm suggesting that you can move. It's that you also get to go add someone on the waiver wire for free. You know? I'll show you in a second what I mean. Let's say Jameson Williams. Right? Okay. So let's say hypothetically you're able to do, what, DJ Moore. Okay, you lose White and Wan'Dale. You improve your receiver room straight away. And then you can instantly go to the waiver wire and add a Kenneth Gainwell. So you're actually getting Gainwell plus a DJ Moore in that scenario. That's by far more valuable than the two that you're sending away. But great team, really well done. I appreciate you letting me look at it. And yeah, man, good luck this year. Cool. I'm going to wait on the devs to answer about Shea. But I think we got it done, guys. We got the queue done. Appreciate everybody who hung out with me. Don't know how long this was today, but the goal was to get the queue finished. And we pretty much did it. I mean, almost did it, right? So, okay. Love you all. Enjoy your nights. Later.